Today I'll be doing a comparison test of two of my favorite SUVs of all time, the Jeep Grand Cherokee and the Toyota 4Runner. Now on the surface, these two vehicles seem very much alike. They're very similarly sized, they're both mid-sized SUVs, and they were two of the first mainstream SUVs on the market. They also both happen to have cult-like followings and are very popular for many good reasons. Now despite the fact that the two seem very similar on the surface, they're actually two very different SUVs. In today's video, I want to explore those differences. Depending on what you're looking for in a vehicle, one of these two options is probably going to be better suited to your personal needs. Now the Toyota 4Runner actually came to market first in 1984 and it's now in its fifth generation. This vehicle is part of that fifth generation that was introduced to market in 2010, saw a minor update for the 2013 model year. This specific vehicle is the 2017 SR5 Premium model and it is my personal vehicle. The Jeep Grand Cherokee came to market a little bit later in 1993 and it's now in its fourth generation, starting with the 2010 model year. Saw a major update for 2014 to the exterior styling, interior updates, as well as some powertrain updates. What we've got here today is a 2014 limited model. Now, one of the biggest changes that we see with the fourth generation of the Grand Cherokee is the level of refinement, inside and out. We've got far better fit and finish, much higher quality materials, and just overall, the vehicle has a much more upscale look and feel to it. And a big reason for that is that while this vehicle was under development, Jeep was under the ownership of Daimler. And so we're seeing this trickle-down effect from Daimler and Mercedes into the Jeep lineup. This vehicle is actually based on the same platform as the Mercedes ML class, so not only does it have really nice ride quality, but some of that luxury, refinement, styling that we get from Mercedes starts to kind of trickle down into the Jeep lineup. Really is a great looking vehicle all around. I love the overall styling that we get. It's got a very athletic look to it, again, very premium look, and a number of things about it that really kind of stand out within this very crowded SUV segment. Starting up here at the front end, I did mention that we get a minor refresh for the 2014 model year. Really as nice as the older versions of this fourth gen look. I really like what they did right here. Gave it a much more contemporary look, much more modern look. We've got a really nice headlight design. We've got the 7-slot grille with the chrome wraparounds. Likewise, we've got the fog lights integrated down below here with the chrome wraparound and a little bit more chrome down there on the lower bumper. We've got chrome mirror caps, chrome wraparound on the window compartments, chrome door handles, and then a really nice set of stock wheels as well. Now this vehicle is the limited package, so that's part of why we're getting all this additional chrome. On the Grand Cherokee for the fourth gen, we have our options of the Laredo model, the Limited, the Overland, the Summit. They've got the Trailhawk, which is kind of an off-road focused version, and then they've also got the SRT8 and the Trackhawk, which are performance focused variants. So a number of different options to choose between depending on what you're looking for in your vehicle. You'll see looking at the side of the vehicle here, some really clean sheet metal, not a lot of added on plastic like we see on some of the older versions of the Grand Cherokee. All we've got is this little fender flare around the wheel wells at the front and the back, and then the little trim piece along the bottom. So that's a really nice improvement on the Grand Cherokee. If you look back on older versions, they've got plastic that comes up, almost halfway up the doors. Served a purpose in some sense, gave it kind of that rugged off-road look, but at the same time, this just has a much more clean look to it than what we saw in those older Grand Cherokees. Likewise, on the back of the vehicle, we get a minor update in 2014, a much better looking taillight design here. Again, much more contemporary. We get a little bit of chrome on the bumper there, and then we've got parking sensors integrated as well. You will see that we've also got dual exhaust. So just all around a really great looking vehicle, very sporty, very athletic, and also very premium. Now with the 4Runner, they're taking things in an entirely different direction. With the 4Runner, it's all about being very old school, very rugged, very bold, and it does that very well likewise. I mentioned that we get a minor refresh in 2013, so this is the revised grille that you're going to see on most 2013 and newer 4Runners, with the exception of the limited model, which looks a lot more like the older versions of the 4Runner. And then the Pro model looks very similar to this, except that you've got the Toyota lettering across this bar instead of this emblem here. With this revised grille, again, very bold look to it, kind of matches the old school nature that you get with the 4Runner. And the 4Runner really is a great looking vehicle as well. You're not getting the same premium upscale appearance that you get with the Grand Cherokee, but it's got a very timeless design to it. I really like the look that we get here. And I think the 5th generation 4Runner is going to go down as a classic. Now, the 4Runner is likewise available in a number of different trim packages. Base model is the SR5. This is the SR5 Premium, which adds a few luxury and tech features. They've got the TRD off-road model, which is off-road focused, and then they offer that in a TRD off-road Premium as well. They've got the limited model, which is kind of their luxury, top of the line model, and then they've got the Pro model, which combines that all. So it's like off-road focused and luxury focused all in one package. And then they've also got a few special editions of the 5th gen 4Runner as well. On the back here, we get an updated taillight with that 2013 refresh. Much more modern design than what we see in older versions of this 5th gen. And then one of my favorite things about the 5th generation 4Runner is this piece of glass right here, which retracts down into the hatch. Really cool feature if you've got dogs. Also just another nice way to get a lot of fresh air into the cabin on a warm day. So again, both really great looking vehicles. 4Runner, again, obviously being much more old school, you know, kind of bold looking, whereas the Grand Cherokee is all about being very upscale and very premium. Now, starting off with the 4Runner interior, you'll see that it's definitely starting to show its age a little bit. Came out in 2010, has seen very little update since then, but it's still a pretty functional overall layout. And especially with this SR5 Premium package, it's got a pretty nice level of standard options. So you've got the center screen here that duals as a backup camera. It's also touch sensitive for audio, navigation, and a number of other vehicle settings. With this package, we get the pleather seats here. We've got our electronically controlled 4-wheel drive system down below here. Climate controls controlled with these 3 knobs in the middle. And this model is also equipped with heated seats. Number of controls on the steering wheel. Power seat for the driver. Coming into the middle row, you'll see it's very spacious. We got a lot of legroom back here. Center console here's got vents to bring heat and air to the rear. A few 12-volt outlets. Center seat here folds down into an armrest with 2 cup holders. Overall, pretty nice space. Now, one feature that we do get with the 4Runner that's not available on the Grand Cherokee, and this was a deal breaker for us when we were deciding between these two vehicles. The Grand Cherokee would have been a really strong contender, but it's not available with the 3rd row seat, whereas the 4Runner is. So pull this lever here, that seat slides forward, and you'll see you've got access to the 3rd row. Now, these are obviously pretty tight little jump seats. Not a lot of space to cram seats into the back, but I'm 5'10" and I actually could fit in a pinch. So it's nice having that added flexibility to bring friends or kids with you. Open up the rear hatch and you'll see that with these seats up, cargo space is pretty much non-existent. So you either have passengers or you have seats. Again, it's nice just having that flexibility. Obviously, they're not the most impressive seats, and storage space isn't that impressive, but it's nice having that added flexibility. And you can see that with them down, cargo space again is pretty decent. We've also got an outlet right here and another 12-volt outlet. The interior of the Grand Cherokee, for comparison, has a much higher quality feel to it than what we get in the 4Runner. Likewise, it saw that update in 2014, so it seems like a much more modern vehicle than what we get with the 4Runner. As far as options go between these two vehicles, I don't know that they're apples and orange comparisons in terms of the trim packages, but we have a number of features in this vehicle that we don't get in the 4Runner, and a couple advantages with the 4Runner as well. You'll see that the seats are much higher quality leather than what we get in the 4Runner. Likewise, we get some really nice quality materials, wood insets, chrome strips, number of surfaces that are leather wrapped with white stitching, leather wrapped steering wheel. And just overall, it's got a very high quality look to it. Very much on par with some of the German competition within the luxury SUV segment. See that the steering wheel has a number of vehicle controls, audio, cruise control, Bluetooth, dual zone climate, electronic gear shifter. Open up this compartment here, and we've got USB auxiliary connection, SD, 12-volt outlet, cup holders. 4-wheel drive, so we've got that 4-wheel drive low mode, hill descent control, and then this rotary knob, which allows us to adjust between a number of terrain settings. Up above, ability to program 3 garage door openers. That is a feature in the 4Runner I didn't mention before. Sunglasses holder. Overall though, really nice look inside the Grand Cherokee. Again, much higher quality materials. Jumping into the back seat, despite the fact that there's no third row, it actually feels tighter than what we get in the 4Runner in terms of leg space. Despite that, it's still a pretty nice rear cabin area. Armrest here with cup holders. Center console's got vents, USBs, power outlet, and then you'll see we also get heated seats for the rear passengers, so that's something that we don't get in the 4Runner. Again, some of those high quality materials back here. And another feature we get on the Grand Cherokee that we don't get on the 4Runner is an electronic rear hatch, at least with this trim package. Again, these vehicles are pretty similar in terms of trim options. We've got the limited model on the 4Runner, which may have some of these features, but the Grand Cherokee also has the Summit package, the Overland package, that offer a lot more additional features. Now back here, you'll see it's very spacious. It actually kind of makes you wonder why they don't make the vehicle with the option of a third row seat. But if you do want a vehicle very similar to the Grand Cherokee with a third row, they also have the Dodge Durango. Personally, I'm not as crazy about the styling on the Durango, and that was the main reason I didn't really consider it as an option for us. But it is a very nice vehicle overall. Back here, you'll see we've also got a 12-volt outlet and our subwoofer, and then down below the floor, we've got our spare tire. This button right here we can push to again close that rear hatch. The Grand Cherokee is available in rear-wheel drive or with its quadra-track 4-wheel drive system. The 4-wheel drive system is automatic, but it allows for the driver to automatically select low range as well as a number of terrain modes. Under the hood, we get 4 different powertrain options. This vehicle's got the base 3.6 liter V6, which has 270 horsepower and an EPA rating of 17 miles per gallon in the city and 24 miles per gallon on the highway. They've also got a 5.7 liter V8, which sees a bump to 360 horsepower and an EPA rating of 14 miles per gallon in the city and 20 miles per gallon on the highway. Then they've got a 3 liter V6 diesel, which sees 240 horsepower and a very impressive EPA rating of 21 miles per gallon in the city and 28 miles per gallon on the highway. And then they've also got a 6.4 liter V8 with 470 horsepower. With that vehicle, you're going to see those EPA numbers drop to 13 miles per gallon in the city and 19 miles per gallon on the highway. So a lot of options on the Grand Cherokee. With the 4Runner, likewise, it's available in rear-wheel drive or 4-wheel drive. And on this 5th generation, they did offer a 2.7 liter inline 4-cylinder in 2010 on rear-wheel drive models only. That engine was discontinued after 2010, and all other 5th generation 4Runners have the same engine. It's a 4 liter V6 with 270 horsepower and 278 pound-feet of torque. EPA rating is 17 miles per gallon in the city and 20 miles per gallon on the highway. Now, max tow capacity on the 4Runner is 5,000 pounds, whereas on the Grand Cherokee, it's going to range from 3,500 up to 7,400, depending on configuration. Now, the old school theme of the 4Runner definitely carries into the driving experience. It definitely feels a little bit outdated in that sense. It is definitely a very off-road capable vehicle, and I'd say that it has the edge over the Grand Cherokee in that sense. It's body on frame construction, it's got more ground clearance, and I think that it's just going to perform slightly better than what you're going to see with that Grand Cherokee. The downside to that is that the ride quality is not as good on asphalt either. I mean, it's not a terrible ride by any means, but it's not that great. One of my favorite magazines, POWERTRAIN, they do a test of the TRD Pro model, and they actually compare driving the 4Runner to one of those playground toys where you've got this single spring with like an animal or something on top, and you sit on it and you just kind of bounce around and you try to keep your balance on it. And they compare the experience in the 4Runner to one of those toys where you hit a bump in the road and it feels like it's kind of bouncing around trying to find that equilibrium, and I cannot agree more. I mean, it's definitely an exaggeration, but that's sort of the experience that you get in this vehicle. Now, the 4 liter V6 that you get under the hood of this vehicle definitely has a great reputation for reliability within the Toyota lineup. It's an engine that they've been using for a long time and has been very trouble-free overall. but it's old school again. So in terms of horsepower, there's not a lot. Towing capacity is not that impressive. Accelerating, it definitely has to work a little bit hard. So you've got to keep in mind that with this vehicle, that's kind of the trade-off that you're getting with that impressive reliability, is that it's also an old school engine. And so it's not going to be as powerful, as quick, as refined as what you get in the Grand Cherokee, but it's probably also going to be a little bit more reliable and lower maintenance costs long term. Now, the driving experience in the Grand Cherokee is very good. I mentioned already that this vehicle probably isn't going to be quite as good as the 4Runner when it comes to off-road capability, but in terms of on-road driving, it is far superior to the 4Runner. I already mentioned it's built on that same chassis as the Mercedes ML class, and to be completely honest, if you were blindfolded, you probably wouldn't be able to tell if you were in a Jeep, a Mercedes ML class, an Audi Q7, or a BMW X5. I mean, it really is that good. It is super smooth, great handling, just has a really solid, high quality feel to it in that sense. Unlike the 4Runner, which kind of bounces around to find its equilibrium, this vehicle is a lot more stiff, much more kind of sports focused, on-road focused, and so if you're going around corners really quick, I feel like it's gonna really handle that a lot better. Likewise, when you hit undulations or imperfections in the road, it quickly absorbs those and gets you right back to driving. So it really is a far superior driving experience in that sense. I also like the fact that you've got so many different engine options available on the Grand Cherokee. Even this 3.6 liter V6 that we get on this model has more horsepower, better tow capacity, and better fuel economy than what we get in the 4Runner. And then we've got that diesel engine, which gets us up to 28 miles per gallon on the highway. We've got, the V8 options if you just want a ton of horsepower and something that's super quick. So, you really get kind of the full lineup of engine options on the Grand Cherokee, unlike the 4Runner. But again, Jeeps aren't necessarily known as being the most reliable vehicles out there. So that again is the trade-off that you get between the two models. So as you can see, both of these vehicles are very nice, and I think they're two of the nicest SUVs that are out there. They obviously offer different advantages to potential buyers. With the Grand Cherokee, you're getting a vehicle that's more upscale, more premium. We've got a number of available engine options that are more powerful, more fuel efficient, better tow capacity than what you're going to get in the 4Runner. Likewise, I like the fact that the Grand Cherokee is made right here in the United States. So some definite advantages that we get with the Grand Cherokee. The 4Runner, for comparison, also has some advantages. I would say that this vehicle definitely has the edge when it comes to off-road capability. Not to say that the Grand Cherokee is bad, but the 4Runner is body on frame construction. It's got more ground clearance, and I think it's really the vehicle that's going to perform better in off-road situations. Also like the fact that you can get the third row seat on the 4Runner that you don't get with the Grand Cherokee. And then we all know that Toyota has a great reputation for long-term reliability, 4Runner being one of the best vehicles in their lineup in that sense. And so while this vehicle is much more simple, it's not going to have the same fuel economy, tow capacity, power output, the old school simple nature that you get with the 4Runner is probably going to make it more reliable than what you get with the Grand Cherokee. So two really great SUVs. If you want off-road capability, you want that third row seat, better reliability, go with the 4Runner. If you want a more modern, upscale vehicle that's more powerful, more fuel efficient, and something that's made right here in the United States, go with the Grand Cherokee. If you have any comments or questions on this comparison, I'd love to get your feedback in the section below. For more car reviews, be sure to subscribe. In the meantime, thanks for watching.